Secretary of State, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us. I want to hear a little bit more about the work that we've been doing in India, and especially, in terms of aid. How has that kind of relationship changed over time?
Well, it is changing, and one of the very first trips I did coming into the role as Secretary of State for International Development was to go to India. It's a country that's come a huge way economically and in development terms over the last 10, 20 years, and our programmes had to change as well to keep up with that. So we're now shifting away from the more conventional aid programmes that people might be more familiar with to programmes of technical assistance where we can provide expertise, helping to work with the government in India to do economic development, particularly in some of those big Indian states like Bihar, where there is well over 100 million people. They're huge,
wow.
But actually there's still a lot of poverty.
Yeah.
So our aid programme's changing, it's steadily also shifting towards trade, and it's mirroring India's own development.
And of course David Cameron's shown so much sort of enthusiasm for the relationship with India. You said it was one of your first trips over there. How did you find it when you went out there?
It's an amazing country. It's a huge country. I think that's the first thing to say. So when people talk about countries developing, this is a country where one state, Bihar, that I visited, has millions more people even than Britain as a whole. But alongside that, you just see this huge opportunity and huge transformation, particularly in the cities, and a country that is going through that whole process of development, and it's staggering.
Yeah.
So massive opportunity for the future, and of course we've been making sure we get UK businesses out there because we think we can have a really successful trading relationship with India that benefits Britain and India in the coming years.
Yeah, and the Indian diaspora does a lot of kind of charity work and actually supports a lot of programmes out, whether it's schools, whether it's during the flooding. There's a lot of aid going over from the Indian diaspora. Do you think they still have a massive role to play in terms of supporting India going forward as well?
Absolutely. I think for Britain, one of the unique features of our country is just these natural links we have around the world, but particularly a country like India. And I think they're a real source of strength for Britain. I'm very proud of our Indian diaspora and all of the work that it does. And you talked about the floods just now. Partly, the UK has been involved in helping India get better prepared to cope with those sorts of floods. So last year we saw particularly bad a typhoon that killed far fewer people than one that happened a few years before, because actually India's much better at dealing with these sorts of crises when they come now. So those diaspora relationships, the relationships between our government and people more broadly, I think are really, really important, and hopefully they can grow and develop over time.